did the girls do?
Great so far.
Okay.
Emily's one boat, Elaine one boat, so they both wrestled tonight in quarterfinals.
Okay.
They haven't wrestled their first match yet. Trinity went 2-1. She's got a chance to continue on tomorrow too. She got one more tonight.
Okay.
And welcome to our public participation meeting intended to speak on the specific budget packages. And thank you all for being here. We welcome and want to hear from you. This is the not intimidating at all podium with a mic to come to. And if you want to speak to the board, then you need to sign in and provide your information at the door, and keep your remarks to 4 minutes. Only the speakers recognized should be allowed to speak, and then no commentary in between. You may ask us a question if it's pertinent. I think it'd be appropriate for Mr. Ebeling to answer them. The difficulty and the difference between this meeting and our regular meetings is that we cannot act in authority to answer as single board members, so we would have to reach consensus on an answer, and it's going to be, I mean, a little bit inefficient to do that at this time, but we'll try to do that. And if you wish to ask a question but you don't want to stand to ask it, you can write it on a note card and give it to our superintendent. Anything I missed? Okay. All right, thank you. Is there someone who'd like to start out with comments?
We've got a list here, and so
Okay.
I'll just read down
You
the
bet.
list as people
Thank you.
signed up. So the first one is Susie Jones.
I'm here to talk about the auditorium manager position. The auditorium manager position schedules events in the auditorium, as well as working with the lighting and the sound and the setup of the auditorium. The benefits that it provides include mostly, or one major benefit is student work in the auditorium. So it helps provide a leader for the student tech team, and those students have ownership and gain experience with the technical aspects of the auditorium. They also deal a lot with the logistics of moving equipment on stage and working with over 700 events, performances, rehearsals, meetings per year in the auditorium. This includes, especially for shows, plays and musicals and show choir events, moving lighting of instruments in the catwalk, using the cherry picker to move lights on the stage, plus dealing with expensive sound equipment. What this cut would mean in terms of major negative impacts to programs within the school seems pretty important versus how small the actual financial savings would be to make this change. So I believe that the proposal is to make part of the auditorium manager's position receive stipends for things like the drama and speech events in the auditorium and the show choir events. The drama and speech program has no funding from the school district aside from paying for the coaches' salaries, bus drivers, custodians. Paying a stipend for someone to do sound and lights for the fall musical, for instance, out of our profits would be a hardship for the program. And it would also be a hardship for the show choir program to speak. I did get input from them as well. This year, we actually added a contract position to the directing team for the fall musical, which was great because paying this person didn't come out of the proceeds from the show. We did pay a stipend to our accompanist and to our set designer and builder out of our profits, but paying another stipend out of our profits would really negate some of the financial benefits that we got from this year, and it would be a hardship. The auditorium manager does an excellent job of helping kids learn the technical aspects of the theater, and I forwarded to Superintendent Ebeling and to Joan a letter from a parent who wrote about her student who's going into technical theater, how Gabe, our current auditorium manager, was able to help him apply for technical theater programs and get scholarships, and so we want that, all of that to continue, and we want that experience to happen, especially for big shows like the fall musical and Dutch Masters, for instance. So that's just something vital to have that person there for. So although the cost to the district might decrease, the overall amount paid out by our programs could be, we are thinking, considerably more than $4,000 if maybe we had to find somebody from outside to take this job. And also, we don't want to rely on parental help, which from past experience, like having parents or untrained personnel in the booth can really be problematic for everybody who utilizes the auditorium. Thank you.
You didn't make it to the, I wanted you to hear my acoustic guitar at the end. There you go, okay. We don't have a buzzer, we have an acoustic guitar. There we go. So
much more.
Thank you.
So much more pleasant.
That's getting yanked off the stage.
Okay, Damien plays.
Okay, so I'm here this evening to ask a few questions. You don't have to answer them, I'll answer them for you. But what is a highly engaging music education curriculum? It's a two-part approach. There's a lot of things that go into it, but it's a two-part approach to teaching kids how to be successful musicians. There's an individual approach to teaching music education, and then there's an ensemble approach to teaching music education. And a highly engaging music curriculum has both. In 2019, the American Psychological Association published a study in the Journal of Educational Psychology. It was titled, "A Population-Level Analysis of Associations Between School Music Participation and Academic Achievement." There were 110,000 participants, and they tracked their educational outcomes in grades 10 through 12. The study results were pretty significant. So the group differences observed in the study showed that students who are highly engaged in music are on average academically over 1 year ahead of their peers not engaged in music, regardless of previous academic achievement, regardless of gender, regardless of cultural background, and regardless of socioeconomic status. What kind of music curriculum does Pella have? We have a highly engaging music curriculum. We have a dual curriculum. We teach students how to be individual musicians, vocally, instrumentally, band and orchestra, and we teach students how to participate collaboratively in an ensemble. We feel that that's a really important part of our students' education. We think it's an important part of a music education. The two-part approach is critical to providing that strong background, and it's also incredibly common across our state. I believe that there was a study done or a survey done by our district to see how other schools are approaching this, and I think that we are in line with how that is operating across the state of Iowa. Budget Package 841.2 is labeled High School Band Associate. That wording is incorrect. The job description attached to that is also incorrect. The position should be labeled 512 Band Associate, and the job description should say that this position provides high levels of music engagement for students in grades 5-12. This position provides high levels, this position teaches over 100 band lessons a week. We had a position similar to this back in 2015, 2016, and it was removed. Our numbers in 512 band at that time were about 444. Since that time, numbers have grown to just under 600, about the size of a typical 3A high school in Iowa, and we don't anticipate that number going down. We project for next year will be over 630, and the year after that, we graduate the smallest class that we have in the system right now for us, and we anticipate jumping over 650 at that point in time. With this position, we're able to meet the needs of our students. And we know that as numbers continue to grow, we're going to have to be creative. We're going to have to look for ways to meet them, to find them, to put in long hours. And we're willing to do that. We're willing to have shortened lunches and teach through prep periods. We're fine with that because we think our kids deserve it. That approach is also working. Our kids are playing in bands and singing in choirs and playing across the United States. They're majoring in music education, music performance, composition. We think that it's a really valuable component to their education. We think our community thinks that. I know that I believe that. I want my kids to be able to experience that profound level of education. And we want to be able to continue to provide that richness that comes from teaching that dual curriculum. We just really ask that this position be maintained. Thank you for your time.
Hey! You knew you were going to get it.
My name is Scott Sorheim, and my wife back there, and I have 4 kids, 1 who graduated in Pella schools a couple years ago, and 3 that are currently still in the schools. I recognize that these budget decisions are complicated in nature, and few of these decisions are easy. So thanks for the energy and consideration that you're putting into all the different options. I'm here in support of the position, as he mentioned, might be mislabeled, but it's item 841.2, the high school band associate, which is being retained right now within that budget recommendation. All 4 of our kids are or have been, at least in the case of our graduated student, involved with the band program. As I think many of you know, the band program exhibits tremendous success through all ages and ensembles. Jazz band consistently performs at or wins the state competition. Marching band nearly always places near the top of the events they're engaged in. And last year, of course, was in the Rose Parade. Recently, 11-12 concert band and jazz 1 were both selected as honor bands to perform at the Iowa Bandmasters Association Conference. And also, it's a rare sight in a community to see a 6th grade marching band in a parade. Asked Mr. Rebilliard, I think when he moved here, he said this is crazy that we put 6th graders in a marching band. But all of our kids, as in the Sorheims, have been a part of these groups. Their experiences are a source of individual growth and pride. We have seen growth through mastering a new skill, growth in leadership as they may be a section leader in marching band or first chair in concert band, growth in confidence as they have performed a solo on stage at Stevens Auditorium in Ames, pride in the teamwork exhibited in an amazing finished product on the field at a marching band competition, pride in making great music, regardless of any accolades, made possible through hard work, development, and support. They have learned that it is fun to see the outcome of something that they've worked really hard on. And all of our kids recognize that the success doesn't happen automatically. It happens with preparation and work. And a lot of that preparation happens behind the scenes, at home practicing, of course, but also in small group and individual lessons provided by the band teachers. The individual attention has helped our kids develop their craft, understanding the nuances of how to produce good jazz music, how to develop good tone, learning when to breathe. All of those details with individual students makes it possible for the collective sound and group of the group to be those things you see in the parades or on the football field or in the auditorium. Something we've observed as parents over the years is the growth in numbers within the band program. It's evident just from watching marching band, as we saw from our oldest daughter when she joined marching band in 2018. It was around 150 to this fall when over 200 students were participating, even after the Rose Parade. I believe total band participation in the district, well, he just alluded to this, is around 600, which on the recommendation also indicates that it's grown 150 in the last 9 years. In order to support that level of growth in small group and individual lessons, it was necessary to expand the staff with that role. That enables continued individual instruction that I alluded to before and helps the kids get what is needed, particularly with the variety of instruments and different needs and skills for each instrument family. It also allows all the other band instructors to continue to support and focus on the other needs of concert, jazz, marching bands while still getting the quality of music education for the individuals within each of those ensembles. Neither Jenny or I were in band growing up. My school didn't even have jazz band. But I remember when I first saw a jazz band performing up on the Tulip Torrent, and I was just blown, none of our kids were even in band yet, and I was blown away. Well, these are high schoolers doing this? This is crazy. And then I saw how good the marching band was, and I knew that we wanted our kids to experience that same level of music education. The growth in the program shows that we're not the only family interested in that for our kids either. Thank you for your support of music education and for continuing to support the band associate position.
Amy Blanton.
Sorry. Sorry, Scott.
Good evening. I'm Amy Blanton, and I would like to discuss the proposed reduction of the journalism stipends. One is for the annual or yearbook, and one is for the newspaper, which is currently news magazines and the website. This is on line 6 of the spreadsheet and referred to as additional high school journalism supplement salaries. I have 5 areas of major concern. 1, I was told that unfortunately all stipends are going to be reassessed and most likely reduced. I would like to ask if this is true and why the stipends in the proposal were singled out to be part of this proposed reduction. 2, from looking over the spreadsheet, I believe that I will be the only one that will have all of my current responsibilities as yearbook and digital media advisor while sustaining a pay cut. I know that there are other stipends being cut or reduced, but I believe that those people will have the choice whether they continue coaching, advising, etc. Although many of my colleagues will choose to continue working in those roles without being compensated financially, they will have the choice to continue that extra task outside of teaching. 3, I have been told that some staff will be expected to continue in their leadership roles without compensation. However, participating in teacher meetings isn't comparable to producing publications. The yearbook is 160 pages. In digital media, we create 4 news magazines a year and content for the website. We also have Instagram platforms for both and contribute the majority of photos for the touchscreen. 4, it feels punitive, which is perplexing. This year, the Duchess won the IHSBA Yearbook of the Year in our class, and the Duchess staff received 23 individual awards. The Palladium was a finalist for News Team of the Year, and those students received 14 individual awards. 5, the amount of time it takes to advise these publications is sometimes overwhelming. There's a lot to juggle on normal days, and my yearbook editors and I spend a lot of time after school is finished to complete the yearbook. I come in August to enter publication contests and often receive training during the summer. Last summer, I took 2 students to San Diego for a Jostens conference. Here are 4 more factors to consider as far as my time goes. 1, usually half of my classes are English, and as my English colleagues can attest, it is a constant struggle to provide meaningful feedback on written assignments. Secondly, I regularly have 4 preps when the norm is 3. Thirdly, publication students cover most of the varsity home activities. I organize that and check cameras in and out on a regular basis. And finally, editing a spread takes an average of 3 hours. The yearbook alone has 80 spreads. In conclusion, I hope that you will reconsider the proposal. The journalism stipends are necessary and fair and should not be reduced. Thank you.
Joe Vishmer-Heinze? Oh, okay. Lisa? Oh, okay. That's the last we've got signed up for now, so.
Is there anyone who would like to ask a question? Mr. Ebeling? Yes. Okay. Is there anything new?
There's nothing else. So on Monday, the board has a work session, and so that's when they'll kind of take up all the recommendations in terms of what's going to be in and out. Part of that time on Monday will also be deciding kind of where that line is going to be drawn in terms of the amount of the cut, because that's kind of a key factor in terms of what things get picked. So we've done some financial modeling and kind of looking at what that looks like with an enrollment change for next year. We're anticipating still to potentially lose some students next year, and so but what we don't know is what that number is. We won't know until next October. So some of those things are kind of factors in the overall deciding that line, and right now we're making a little bit of a guess on what that could be, but that gets talked about then on Monday, and then going kind of through the packages and deciding which ones would stay and which ones would be reduced. So I know the board's gotten other feedback from other people and packages that aren't here tonight. Some of them might be watching online, which is good too. So The other thing, also, don't be afraid to encourage that direct communication to the board or to me that way, because that also can be taken into consideration. So if there's somebody that was watching or wasn't able to make it tonight, certainly we would want to have them included in that information. So if I get things, I'll try to forward those onto the board. All the board emails, though, are all on the website as well, so don't be afraid to do that. So otherwise, thanks for coming tonight. If there's no other questions, we'll,
Conclude the
I
hearing.
guess we're done.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.